Hey everybody, this is Dan Miller. I want to welcome you to tonight's training for Level 1. We got a lot of things we're going to be covering tonight. The one thing I'm going to tell everybody to start off with training tonight is please grab a notepad and something to write with. We're going to be covering a lot during this training session. What I've been doing is after each training session, each week, I've been watching what the users have been doing within their blog post. And just kind of taking notes because there's some things, and this is the biggest thing. I don't like pointing out people where I see mistakes because people are learning. And I always think that that's bad when you're pointing out people. So what I did was I took notes on some of the mistakes that I seen were happening over this, and they're honest mistakes, by the way. They're, like I said, when everybody's learning, there is no such thing as a mistake, because if you learn from your mistake, guess what? It's not a mistake that's been, done wrongly. You're learning from it and you're moving on, and that's what we're going to be covering a lot with tonight. A lot of it's going to help with your search engine rankings, what we're going to be showing you tonight. So I do want you to take some notes. Another thing too is I also want to make sure that everybody can hear me and also see my screen. If you can see my screen and you can see my mouse moving across the menu, and you can hear my voice, if you could raise your hand, you should have a little hand symbol there. All right, perfect. Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Chris, Chrisanne, Corey. Thanks, guys. Eddie, Frank. I appreciate it. I'm going to lower everybody's hands now. I know that we do have some questions that are coming in tonight. As always, I'll be answering as many questions as I can after the training session. I will try to get through as many as possible. But I do want to get started on this. Last week, during the last week's training session, if you haven't watched that, by the way, if you're just starting out with Level 1, the one thing I want you to do is go to the live training sessions if you're new and start going through these and watch them one by one. If you're not watching these training sessions in order, you're going to kind of get lost at what we're talking about on some of these training sessions, and that's another reason why I do want you to take notes. So if you are brand new and if this is your first training session, just remember that these other training sessions are here in the back. Make sure you go through those training sessions as well, because it kind of builds up week after week to where we're jumping into. But one of the things I was covering last week was monetizing your blog, and then you can see it right here on the training session. Connect with the reader, and then monetizing your blog. And what we covered was, through your article that you're writing, your post that you're writing, when people are reading online, it's just like anything else that they read. If you attract their interest, if you make that personal connection with them, you're going to keep them on your blog post, and they're going to start reading through it. And then we showed you tricks on monetizing it. And we've seen people taking advantage of that. Some have overtaken advantage of that, and some are trying to take advantage of that. So that's one of the things we want to cover. The other thing we're going to start covering tonight is how to increase the rankings by connected to related posts that you've already written about. And so again, we do want you to take notes through this, because I'm going to jump right into it right now. And let me get over here to edit post, and I'll pull up our sample post we've been using in training. Now, the one thing that I want to get into right now is when people are turning around, when you're creating your post, okay, here's a couple of the mistakes that I've been seeing. A lot of bolding going on. Bolding can be good, don't get me wrong, but remember, if you're going to be bolding, okay, if you're going to be bolding through your content, don't overdo it. The other thing that I've noticed too with some people, anything that you're bolding, by the way, should be related to the keyword. I'm going to open up the SEO scope for this example. You can see I'm using part-time work from home, and work from your home in this example, okay? So in this example, anything that I'm bolding should be related to my main keyword. If it's not related to my main keyword, you really don't want to be bolding it, because what bolding is going to do is, believe it or not, it does attract the search engines. Search engines can turn around and tell strong titles. And what it does is it looks for that relevancy. Is it relevant to what people, if you got something marked strong or bold, if you got it bolded, and it's not related to your keyword, and I'll just show you on this one. Let's say this one, in this example, we got part-time work from home. So if we got part-time work from home, and I want to bold that, and you can see my density level jumped up there. Now, if I bold that, that's the only thing that I really want to bold is either my keyword or phrase that's related to my keyword, because you'll see other work from home job careers, and you can see I got work from your home, work from, and then part-time work from home. So it is a related keyword. So this one's fine down here, but what I'm seeing people bold are things that are not related. So if you're bolding something that's not related to the keywords or your targeted keywords, you want to make sure that you unbold that within your post, because what's going to happen is Google's going to turn around, along with Bing, along with Yahoo, they're going to turn around and reference that as a strong title and basically check, is it related to what people are searching for? Now, if it's not related, it can actually decrease your rankings. And that's what you want to avoid. You're not trying to decrease your rankings, you're trying to increase your rankings. The other thing that I've noticed too is people are trying to center their main title that they put on. They'll have their main title of their post, and then they'll put a subtitle, which is fine. You can subtitle your main keyword too, but then they're using spaces to kind of center it. That's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to use spaces to center it, because, believe it or not, Google's going to pick up all these spaces, and they count, they're going to disqualify them as characters, but it does play a role in their algorithms. You don't need to center your space, or to center your titles, by the way, or your subtitles or anything else that you're doing by using spaces. All you got to do is just click center, and it'll center it for you. Okay, so that's just one of the things I wanted to keep in mind, that I wanted people to keep in mind. So remember, that anything that you bold within your content, and let me scroll this up here, you want to make sure that it's related to your keyword or your target keywords. If it's not related to your keyword or your target keywords, that phrase, and by the way, what I mean by target keywords is simply, let me pull up Google here. I'm going to move this off to the side. Is when people type something into Google, work from home. That's the keyword that they're searching for in this example that we're using right now. So anything that you turn around and you're targeting within here or bolding in here, you want to make sure it's related. So that's if you got stuff within your post that you're already putting in there and you're bolding it and it's not related to your keywords that you're targeting with your article, go back in there and unbold them, okay? Because I have noticed that mistake. Now, the other thing with monetizing your blog, we were picking up things last week, and I believe I used Jill's blog post as an example, and it was a perfect example. She was writing about, losing weight, and then I showed her how she could easily monetize that blog. And you can do this with anything that you're writing about. You could be writing about, shoveling snow. You could be writing about, cutting the grass or mowing the lawn or fishing, whatever interest that you're involved with, okay? Whatever interest you're involved with or whatever you're blogging about, whether it's a recipe, baking a cake, how to make this dessert, how to make the best, backdoor barbecued burgers on the planet. There's always things that you can monetize with that, but you don't want to over monetize it. What you want to do is anytime that you're writing an article, and here's what I was seeing, and I just want to bring this up. Anytime that you're writing an article and you're trying to monetize it, watch your content, the amount of content you got. For instance, if you got 500 words within your content, you don't want to be including 3 or 4 monetized links. And what I mean by monetized links is, let's say this article was about, backyard barbecuing, the greatest burgers. And I joined an affiliate program where that sold barbecue sauce, spicy barbecue sauce, or maybe I had a link from Amazon because I'm a member of their affiliate program for the top-ranked outdoor grill. There's a number of things that you can find within anything, whether it's you're baking a cake, whether you're turning around and, like I said, mowing the lawn, whatever you're writing about, fishing, it doesn't matter. There's hundreds of affiliate programs out there and hundreds of products and services you can represent online and monetize that blog with, but you don't want to overdo it. So if you got only 500 words in your article, I would only include one monetization link. Because what's going to happen here is if you got 500 words or less within your article, and then all of a sudden you got, click here for the best barbecue sauce. And then underneath that, you got click here for the best. And these are just examples. Grill in town. Click here for, do you see what I mean? And of course, obviously how you would link these up is you just highlight them. You'd go to the link, and then of course you would put in your target. For this example, I'll just put in Google. And I'm going to target this, and I cover this. You want to target this into a new window. That's going to allow people to actually stay on your blog. So now I got this targeted. So, click here for the best barbecue sauce. Click here for the best grill in town. Click here. I think you can see what I'm getting at. If you got 500 words, you don't want to include more than one monetization link, okay, where you're monetizing your blog. You really don't want to do that. If you're used to AdSense, why it works with Google, because a lot of people have fought me on this over the years. They say, well, how's that true? Because I've had blogs set up with AdSense where Google will still rank it high, and they'll populate all their AdSense stuff. Let me tell you why that happens. That's because it's Google, okay? I can tell you when you're turning around and you're actually pointing to products, and these products could be in different locations. Maybe one of the products pointing to Amazon. Maybe one of the products is pointing to, grillfactory.com. Maybe the other link is pointing to, outdoor grill accessories at outdoorgrillaccessories.com. So we're pointing towards 3 different sites. What'll happen there is, believe it or not, what you're doing is you're increasing the ranks for those sites through your short blog post. Meaning, with that monetization, that what you're doing, you're actually helping them increase their site rather than increase your blog post. Do you get what I'm saying here? I hope you do. So if you got only 500 words, roughly, right, and every blog post should be at least 400 to 500 words, and it's not that much. But if you got 400 to 500 words, you want to watch how many monetization links you're putting within that post, okay? Because I'm not saying people won't find your post, but you won't be able to rank as high because you're actually ranking those products higher, because now you'll have related content directly linked to their products. And believe it or not, these are backlinked to their products, and backlinks are very strong within any search engine, Bing, Yahoo, and Google. It will actually rank their product page higher if you're doing this correctly. And if there's a lot of affiliates out there doing the same thing, it'll actually rank that product page higher than your blog post. And that's what you don't want to do. You want your blog post, your article, to rank above that product. So you want to be careful how many backlinks that you're including in. That's why I said for 500 words, you want to include one backlink to a monetized site, to an affiliate link, to a product or service. If you are turning around and you are you have 1,000 words out there, now include 2. Monetize it to 2 if you want to. Most of the time when I'm writing about a product or service, a lot of my posts will end up being, believe it or not, anywhere between 750 to 1,000 words. And within those words, I'll only have one link that I monetized, because that's all you really need. The people are going to read the entire article, and from that article, they're going to get to the bottom of it. And once they get to the bottom of that article, here's the link to click on for the grill I'm talking about, or here's the link to click on from the about the barbecue sauce I was just explaining to you about, or where to get the barbecue sauce I included in my recipe, or here's, do you get what I mean? So I only include one monetization link. I'm not saying you can't include more, but just be very careful on your monetization links that you're throwing within your blog post. When you're writing about any product, service, or opportunity out there, it goes for anything. For instance, let's say you're writing about an opportunity in this one, and you wanted to list the number of programs that you're in. You could click here for, program number 1, because this is part-time work from home. And then in this one, we got click here for program, excuse my typing, program number 2. Click here for program number 3. We don't want to monetize all these, meaning let's say I was involved with 3 different programs out there, and I'm saying work from home's easy. Here's the 3 programs I'm involved with. Here, click from program number 1. Here, click for program number 2. Here, click for program number 3. And a lot of people will turn around and say, well, I'm involved with all 3 of these programs. I want people to see that. So what we're going to show you tonight is how to take your content, okay, and you can include these, but you only need to include 1 per article. Okay, you only want to monetize 1 per article. And the way that you're going to turn around and grab your other 2 programs and can include them in there if you want to, is to turn around and create related articles within your blog to create kind of like a cross-traffic link system that's going to allow Google to turn around and rank you higher. So I'm going to walk through this tonight. It may sound complex, but when you see what I'm doing, it's going to be very easy. So the one thing I want you to learn from tonight, training for monetization, per blog post out there, guess what? Only include 1 monetization link per article. That's all you really need. Now, if you have more programs or more products out there that you want to promote that's related to that article, that's fine. We're going to show you how to do that right now because we already have it kind of set up. You can see right now, part-time work from home. I got my content written, and of course, my content would be longer than this in a true post or a true article. My average post or my average articles are right around 700 to 1,000 words. I like to keep them right in between there. Nothing too long, nothing too short. But it gives me enough time to cover everything that I was taught in my English class. The who, what, when, where, why, and hows. You need to cover all those within your story. Okay? Also, that story needs to have that personal connection with the person that's reading it. If you don't have that personal connection, which we covered in last training session, guess what? They're going to click off your post just as fast as they clicked on your post. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing them. And if you have the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows, you've written the story and you've made that personal attraction, that personal relationship to that person that's reading your article, they're going to read the whole thing. And of course, when they get to the bottom, that's where you want to monetize it. That's where you're going to put your link at. Click here for program number 1 or my recommended program. Okay? Now, the way that you can include other programs or other product links, depending on whatever you're marketing online, is to create other work from home, you can see right here, other work from home job careers. And in fact, I'm going to switch that. You can see that I got my keywords. Let me pull this up here, get these checked in. You can see I got part-time work from home, and work from your home. Other work from home. So work from home is going to fit within this. Other work from home job careers. And of course, in this one, I got telemarketing jobs. I was using this as an example. So I'm going to delete that out. Now, the one thing you can do, and I'm going to save this as a draft, and I'm going to grab this keyword right here. Okay, work from your home. I'm actually going to pull up a notepad so I can do this fast for you guys so you can kind of see what I'm going to do here. All right. So I'm going to grab this keyword. This is going to be a title to another post. Work from your home. And what I would do, and I'm just going to copy this content as an example. Let me just hit, in fact, I want to hit Control C. Let me put this in here. And I'm going to put word wrap in here so you can see it. So now what I would turn around and do is I would spin this article. Okay? And what I mean by spinning it, and we've covered this before too, is just take each sentence by sentence and just rewrite it in different words so it's not duplicate content. So I would rewrite that article. So I got work from your home would be the new title. We would have the same content, but we would spin it. Okay? Now, and of course, with that, we could turn around and write another article basically on the same thing. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. It's a neat trick. It works great to increase your rankings. So please pay attention to this. So this top one here is my main keyword. I'm going to put some dashes in here. Now I want related keywords. Well, for my related keywords, I'm going to grab my targeted keyword and my other related keyword, work from home. Okay, so all I'm doing right now is taking the keywords I'm currently using. Okay, it's the keywords I'm currently using in this campaign, the content that I'm using in this campaign, and I'm just going to spin this content, and I'm going to use the same keywords, except now all I'm going to do is rearrange them. All right? Now, does that do a lot for Google and Bing and Yahoo? Absolutely it does. Because now this is going to become related content. So I'm actually going to save this one as a draft. And I'm going to go to my blog and I'm going to create a new post. And for this post, I'm going to put in my stuff I just copied and pasted. But for my main keyword, now my targeted keyword, I'm going to put in work from home for the first related keyword, part-time work from home, second related keyword, work from home. So all I did was turn around and switch the keywords. Okay? That's all I turned around and did was I switched the keywords. We'll turn around. We're going to select our category. For this one, I'll just grab business opportunities. And the title is going to be this. Work from your home. I'm going to create my link. Made a description. I'm going to actually put in just a short description. How to work from your home in your spare time. Now, I don't want to put part-time because I'm already using part-time in my first article. So for this description, I'm putting in spare time. How to work from your home in your spare time and build an extra income. And that's going to be my description. Now for the keywords, same thing. I'm going to put them just in order. Work from your home, part-time work from home, and work from. So now I got all my keywords in there. Okay? So you can see all I'm doing is taking what I've done and I've spun it. I've spun the keywords. I've spun the description. Now this one's targeting work from your home, unlike my other article. And what I would do next is this content right here, I would spin it. You know, right now I got as more and more people try to find part-time work from home, I would actually just spin it. As more and more people discover they can work from, as more and more people discover where they can actually work from your home, or do you get what I'm saying here? You can spin it. So I would figure out a way to put work from your home within that first sentence. If you would like to learn how to work from your home, you'll find out that more and more people are finding out plenty of ways to do this within their spare time. Do you see what I mean? So all you want to do is take each sentence and spin it, but instead of targeting the keyword you used before, you're going to target this new keyword. That's part of your keyword group, okay, that you used within your article. So once you've taken that article and you've spun it, basically you got a new article that's targeting this keyword and using this as your related keywords instead. Now I'm just going to, I'm not going to spin this here because class times run fast. It's already 25 after. I know I got a lot of questions tonight from people that wanted to ask me questions tonight, and I do want to try to get to them all. So I'm just going to act as if I already did spin this. So I don't want people to say, well, Dan, I watched you in training. You just took the one article and pasted it right into your other article. That's duplicate content. I'm just showing this to speed up the training. I would take the time to spin this article, and I would spin it so it would be focusing on this keyword now, not the original keyword. It would focus on this keyword now. Let me grab this here real quick. And so down here, you could subtitle it again. We got work from your home. So you could put in again, work from your home. I could put in my content, and now use the text editor up. Since we're tackling this keyword, we'll bold it out. And then the other thing and of course you can center this as well. Remember, don't use spacebar to center. Use the tools that are on the text editor to center. Now on this one, I could turn around and go to click here for program number 2. Okay? And I could create that as a link. And for it, I'll just put in Google again. And of course, we're going to target this into a new window, and we'll click OK. So now that we have our new target in there. Now, here's where the power comes in on this. And of course, it wouldn't say click here for program number 2. You can make that backlink anything. It could be the backlink to the actual second program you're involved with. But this is how you can monetize more than one program, or more than one diet, or more than one recipe, or more than one barbecue sauce, grill, or accessory. All you're doing is taking your keywords, rearranging them, focusing on the new one, and then including that other item that you want to monetize, or where you're trying to drive traffic to. Now remember what I said. This is a short demonstration. You want to have your article somewhere between at least 500. Try to have at least 500 words. Make sure you're covering the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows, and make that connection with the reader. Otherwise, they're going to click off of it. And a lot of people have asked me questions on that. How do I connect? Think of the things that you would actually say when you're just talking to a friend. Because we had a lot of questions. How can you connect? How can you connect? It's just like when you're talking to a friend. Regardless about anything. For the ladies that are in the kitchen, when you're talking about recipes. No, this was a great recipe. Oh, I know that sauce was just incredible. That the zing. You guys know what I'm talking about. So if you turn around and just act like you're talking to a friend, talking about your personal experiences, what you've went through, what you think the other person that's reading it went through, their experiences, whether they're in the kitchen, within an opportunity, make that connection. And then, of course, write your article, minimum 500 words. You should have it at least, I like to keep it between 700 to 1,000. And then all you need is that one link. Now, here's where the power comes in by doing this. This is a nice way to turn around and build cross traffic against your blog. And I'm going to just type this out here and explain what I'm doing. So in this right now, I'm going to turn around and type in were you interested in this article? If so, you may be interested in these as well. And I'd put a colon here. Now again, this is just an example. I'm literally spelling this out so you can see what I'm doing. Were you interested in this article? If so, you may be interested in these as well. Now, there's different ways you can word this. So you don't just want to copy copy this saying and use it on article, article after article after article. You can, but there's different ways that you can actually even plug your keywords that you're targeting in here. For instance, if you're interested in work, if you're interested in doing work from your home, you may be interested in ... whatever you want to do. Do you see what I mean? You can actually target your keyword in that phrase. And then what I would do is I would include a link to my other article that I just spun, which was work from your home. And how I would do that is I would, copy this keyword, oops, cancel that here, and I'd capitalize it, part-time work from home. And of course I would link that back to my other article. which would be www.level1network.com/your username / and of course it would be part time work from home. And I'd click OK. Now I'm going to, if people go, well, how am I supposed to remember my links? You don't have to, so I'm going to show you what you can do here. I'm going to save this as a draft as well now. You can see right here I got part-time work from home. So if you can't remember your last title, just go back, save it as a draft right now. Go back, copy your previous article, which was part-time work from home, or whatever article you're trying to relate or build that cross traffic from. I'll jump back into this one. Let's edit the link. Get that out of there, and now I'll just paste in this link and I'll click OK. Now this is going to link right to my other article. Now I can do the same thing. So for instance, I can copy this. Oops, it's not going to let me here. Control C, by the way. I can copy this. I'm going to save this as a draft. Now I'm going to go back to my other one, part-time work from home. Let's go down here. Right here I got other work from home job careers. So I can take this sentence out. And this one, what I would turn around and do, instead of part-time work from home, I'd grab my other keyword. So let's open up the SEO scope, which is work from your home. So in this one, I would just put in work from your home. And of course, I would edit the link on this as well. So I'll save this as a draft. And we got work from your home. I'm going to highlight this link, copy it. I'm going to go back to edit on my part-time work from home. Take this one out. Oh, that's the one we already did. My apologies. No, it's not. That's part-time work. Yep, so now we're replacing it. So now what I've done is my two articles, I've connected them. The bottom thing, that's what I'm trying to show you here. So this one's part-time work from home, but now this one will lead to work from home, work from your home. Do you see what I mean? So on this article, you're promoting program number 1. On your work from home article, you're promoting program number 2. Or on, let's say you're talking about diets. On article number 1 about your diet, you're promoting diet plan number 1. But if you got other diets you're trying to promote, then you spin that article related to your keywords, and you can include that down here, other diet programs. And then in that second article, guess what? You could put diet program number 2. Now this may seem confusing, but I want you to just draw this out. All I'm doing, I'm going to save this as a draft. All I'm doing is connecting these two articles. Okay? I'm monetizing both of them, but what I'm doing is I'm connecting these two articles. Basically, I'm backlinking them to each other within the network. And what that does is, when Google comes down, and let me get back here to the edit on this one, when Google comes down and actually hits the front page of our network and grabs your content, it's going to go part-time work from home. And then, of course, it's going to grab your backlink from the program or product or service, whatever you're promoting online, your monetization. It's going to grab that, find out that it is relative, especially since you do have it keyworded. It should be keyworded to your keyword, by the way. And then other work from home, job careers, work from your home. This is related. It's going to now follow this link over to your other article, go through that content, find out that that is supported relevant content, and this is the great part. It's relative content to your related keywords, which even increases your ranking higher for each of the posts. Meaning, so now if somebody types in part-time work from home, this site will actually rank higher. If somebody types in part-time work from home on Google, this one will actually start to rank higher now because you have related posts with associated keywords. And if somebody types in work from your home, guess what? This article, your work from home article, will actually start to rank higher because it's related to the keyword that people are typing into Google. So if somebody types into Google work from home, they're going to go to that article, and I'm just going to click back here so you can see what I'm talking about. So when Google hits this article, it's going to say work from home's related. You're going to backlink this with your keyword as well, and that's related. And then other articles you may be interested in, part-time work from home. Well, guess what? That's one of my related keywords. And Google's going to follow this link, and it's going to index that as well, and it's going to say this is more related content supporting work from your home. So again, work from your home ranks higher. Okay, so all we're doing is connecting these. We're connecting these posts. And we can even do this a third time. We can even do this a fourth time. And within our post, we can start connecting all of our other related posts. Now, the one thing I want to tell people, and write this down as well too, for your related articles, these are known as your inner backlinks. Okay, we talk a lot about backlinks and front links and stuff like that. Inner backlinks are where you're backlinking to another one of your posts within the same blog platform. Okay, so when you're doing inner backlinks, they can become very strong because as Google's going through and grabbing your content, and it grabs these related links, and for instance, you could have you could have 3 or 4 of them, and of course they wouldn't all be named the same thing. You could have part-time work from home. You could work from home in spare time. Work from home at night. Depending on we've already showed you how to find keywords and related keywords, so they're easy to find out. You can pick what people are searching for. But what I'm saying is, if you're turning around, you can literally spin those articles, and you can create your own inner backlinks that just connects all those articles that are relative to each other within your blog, and that'll help your rankings get higher. So the rule of thumb is, and this is a big thing that I want everybody to kind of turn around and focus on, is when you're monetizing your blog, you only need to monetize it once. We understand that you may be involved with a lot of other programs, affiliate programs. You might want to promote those products out there because you find out, through monetization how easy it is to get traffic and get people to click on those links. And it is. The more you build, the higher you rank, the more traffic you're going to get. You're going to find out very quickly that people will click on those links. And some will buy those products, and you will start earning those commissions. But you don't want to list, 3 or 4 affiliate programs in one article. My rule of thumb is I always write an article 700 to 1,000 words, and I include that one link to that affiliate product or service or program. That's my monetization link. I only include one link, and that's this link right here. And I always include it at the bottom. And then, of course, right below that, I'll write a little short, sometimes it's even 2 or 3 sentences. If this article interested you on how to work from home, part-time work from home, you may also be interested in other articles I've written about in this field, which you can access here. And then, of course, now I got my other articles. And they're easy to create because all you're doing is spinning the content. But what's nice about that, because it's not duplicate content, you're actually going to backlink. Okay, you're backlinking your other articles within your blog. And of course, as Google spiders out and catches that, they're going to find out it's all related content. The more related content, the more powerful it is. All right? So now the more powerful it is, the higher you can receive on your rankings. Not to mention, within each of these articles as well, you can monetize it for different things. Maybe a different diet program. So that's the biggest thing I want you guys to remember. 700 words, 700 to 1,000 words, at least 500. If you can, push it to 700 to 1,000. Make that connection with the person. Only include one monetization link at the bottom. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to start creating other posts that are related around your related keywords. I'll open up the scope again. That are around your related keywords. For instance, on this one, I got work from your home, part-time work from home, and work from home. or work from. So on this example, for this example, that's what I would target. Work from home would be my related article, and work from, which is an open-ended one, I use that as an example, but it could be work from your kitchen table. Get what I mean? And then, of course, in that content, you could turn around, learn how to build a part-time income by working from your kitchen table. And then in that, I would drop my related keywords as part-time work from home and work from your home. And you cross-reference those. Now, when you're cross-referencing articles, the most times I like to do it is maybe 3. Sometimes I do push it to 4. You don't really need to do it more than that. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up is I noticed people that were backlinking, but they were backlinking to relevant content that they already had out there. But guess what? They were backlinking that content to other sites, to that were not within their blog on level 1. And what that'll do, and unless this is in your intention, that'll actually now increase the traffic for that other site. That's not what you want to do. You want to increase the traffic for the content you're writing. Okay? The content that you're writing and cross-linking here. So if you have backlinks that are going out to other sites, you want to be careful with that, because instead of building the ranks for the content you're writing right here, all you're doing is increasing the ranks for other related content out there that you may be backlinking to. Now, if that's what you're trying to do, then yes, you are doing it right. But remember, with our interface, the way Google can turn around, and we got that main page exposure for everything, you're going to be able to build rankings faster with our system, okay, than backlinking a bunch of other content you have out there. Now, we're going to be showing you how to backlink other content that you have out there and make it work for the current article that you're writing, and we're going to be showing that in future training. So that is the one thing I wanted to cover tonight, because it's very important. So many people, when they're brought through training on how to market online, they're never showing any of this stuff. All people say is, all you got to do is write an article, get it out there, people see it, people will find you, they'll come to you, and they'll buy. That's not the case. There's a lot more. If it was that simple, there'd be 6 billion millionaires online by now. Everybody that's ever been involved with any type of opportunity online would be a millionaire right now. So it's not that simple. There's a lot involved with it. And I do realize that that's what a lot of people have been taught over the years. Just get your articles out there, get them out there, and you'll get the traffic. It's not the case. There's a lot to it. So one of the things you should do with this, and I'm going to go through this list one more time, make a note of this. Anytime you're writing an article, type this list out and print it out and put it on your wall or your desk, or tape it to your computer screen, wherever. It doesn't have to be on a full sheet. Just make like a little cliff note or something and tape it right to the bottom of maybe your monitor screen. When writing an article, if you're going to bold, anything that you bold should be your keyword or related to your keyword. So anything you bold should be your keyword or related to your keyword. Now, you don't want to over bold things either. That doesn't mean you want to bold your keyword every time it's written in the article. Most times that I will bold something is where I'm using the keyword as a header. For instance, in this example, work from your home. It's okay to bold it like that. I wouldn't go through my article and turn around, work from your home. Let's bold it here. Work from your home here. Let's bold it here. Oh, I got work from your home here. I'm gonna bold this link, this backlink. You don't want to do that. You don't want to over bold. It's called spamming. Google actually picks up on that. It's just like when you're spamming keywords. A lot of people hear spam, they think of email spam. Google actually has algorithms out there to determine which articles or which posts or which content online is actually spamming the system to achieve higher ranks. So if you're using too much bold activity, it's the same when people use too many H1, H2, H3 tags. A lot of WordPress people out there probably know what I'm talking about. You have that option, so here I'm going to put H2s and H1s all over. If you do that too much, guess what? The search engines can actually pick up now, hey, you're spamming the keywords, which is unfair to the real content out there. Since you're spamming the keywords within your content by bolding and using too many tags on it and this, that, and everything else, we're actually going to decrease your rankings. We don't care how relevant your content is. We're actually going to decrease you because now you're spamming the keywords. So you don't want to overdo it. Most of the times, I'll just bold subheaders. Okay? I'll never bold a backlink, and I'll never bold a related title link. You just don't want to do that. Most of the times within an article, I'll maybe bold things 2 or 3 times per 700 to 1,000 words. So you don't want to, if you're bolding things within your article, don't overdo it. It can actually hurt your rankings. You might achieve a high ranking right away, but then guess what? Google's going to catch on to it because it's not like they just index you, put you in their database, and forget about you. The first thing they do is grab your content, throw it in the database. If it's relevant, you're going to start achieving those ranks. But guess what? Throughout the next 6 to 8 weeks to 90 days to even 6 months, their algorithms actually go to work on your content within your article. And they break down, okay, this was used too many times. They're bolding this. They're doing this. They're doing this. And all of a sudden you'll see your rankings drop and you'll go, well, gosh, I was on page 1. Now I'm on page 3. What's happening? I've learned that if, using minimum bolds on my keywords, I'll achieve higher ranks. You don't need to spam. So per 700 to 1,000 words, I'll maybe bold things 2 or 3 times, but it's always related to my keywords, but I don't overdo it. If you only got an article that's 500 words, only bold something once. Okay? Only bold it. That's all you need to do, is just bold it once. Never bold a backlink to a monetization. Okay? So if you're adding a promotional product or you're driving traffic, if you're trying to monetize things, for instance, like let's say this was about a recipe, and we're driving traffic to, maybe a cookbook that's available online that included that recipe, and we can earn a commission on it. You only want to include one monetization link within your article. You don't want to include a bunch of them. You only want to really include one. If you have more than one you can promote, spin your article up, like we showed you. Then include recipe book number 2, recipe book number 3. Okay? Same with programs out there. If you're involved with multiple programs, don't just go click here for program 1, program 2, program 3. Split it up. Create these cross links. Okay? Create these cross links, these inner backlinks to related articles that are promoting those programs. And that'll actually increase your rankings online. Also, when you're adding inner backlinks to related content, only do it 3 to 4 times max. In fact, if you only have 500 words, only do it twice max. If you have 700 to 1,000 words, do it 3 to 4 times max. If you have over 1,000 words, do it still 3 to 4 times max. Okay? But again, these inner links, these inner backlinks that we're creating, all we're doing, we're linking up these articles, which is all related content, we're linking them up to each other. And Google's going to like that. So if you are backlinking within your articles, backlink to other related articles you have within your blog. That's going to increase your rankings of your blog when people type work from your home or part-time work from home. If you're backlinking to other content that's out there that's kind of all over the place, all you're doing is increasing the ranks for that, and you're defeating the purpose of what this network can actually do for you. Okay? All right. I'm going to take some questions here. So I hope you took notes tonight. And remember, this is being recorded, so if you have, if you kind of got lost, you're going to be able to view the recorded training session. We'll have that back up in the back office by tomorrow morning. All right, let's get to some questions here. And we got a lot of them. All right. Let me break these down here real quick. Hey, Dan, I addressed this question to you on a ticket, but they referred me to you. This is from Brad. I did write an article for Ezine Articles. They say I can't link to my post with L1N. The link has to be a top-level page of a site I own. Any thoughts on this? Well, if Ezine Articles started doing that, to be honest with you, most of my crosslinks, I do own the base domain name. I'm finding it hard to believe that they wouldn't allow you to turn around and let you. Was this when you added your website, Bradley, or was this when you were trying to just add the link into the article? Because if it's the link into the article, to me that's going to sound weird because most, a lot of articles out there will have affiliate links as well, and I'll actually write to Ezine articles regarding that. If they're only letting top-level domains be a link, Ezine articles is great, but I can tell you this right now, there's probably 40 other article sites. We got them listed in your back office that you can use. So if they're not allowing that now, and I can't picture why they wouldn't allow it, but I'll take your word for it. Grab another high-ranking article hub. In fact, we got them right here in your back office. They're free to join. Let me just get over here to promoting level 1. If you go in your back office, you'll see that there's plenty of article hubs out there. You'll find that some of them are going to allow that, but I'm going to take note of this because I'll actually I've worked with Ezine articles now for almost a decade. I'll actually reach out to them and find out why they're doing that, if that's what they are doing. Okay, so I will take that. But if that's the problem you're running into, grab one of the other article sites and get that article out there anyway. All of them aren't going to be along those guidelines. Because if you think about it, if a lot of affiliate links out there, guess what? The affiliate links for some programs, which a lot of people promote through articles, are, how do I want to put it? They got a lot of refs and IDs, this, that, and everything else. Yeah, it's on the base level domain, but other blogging systems out there are designed like ours. I don't see why it would be such a big deal, but I'll find out with them, Bradley, and I'll get back to you on that on a ticket or send you an email on it. But if that's the case and that's what they're doing, I'll also notify you guys in training as well if that is what they're doing. I always figure out ways around those things, by the way. So we'll figure out things around those, and we'll figure out a way to get around that as well. Maybe using the gateway pages, or maybe using Blogger. Okay, so there are ways around it, but it wouldn't hurt at the same time to also get involved with another press release site or article site that's going to allow you to put in your links the way that you need to put them in. But I will definitely look into that. I'd like to know if paying for social syndication programs like TriPro will help me with rankings. I currently pay $40 a month for TriPro along with $20 a month to OnlyWire to use the service. I'd really love to cancel them if they don't help. Well, Judith, on this, you're probably not going to like what I say. Can their systems help? Yeah, they can help to the marketers who don't know what they're doing. What we're actually showing you in here is how to do this stuff yourself. You're also going to find out that a lot of the tactics that these guys use on the underneath, and I'm not saying they're one of them, but there's a lot of traffic site builders, this and that. They actually use techniques that are not allowed or considered ethical by search engines. They just kind of keep them on the underneath. For services like that, I've never used them. I'll be honest with you, I've never used them. With what I'm teaching you here, just to let you know, Judith, if you apply everything I'm showing you here through all the training sessions, by the time we're done, you're not going to need them anymore. Chances are you don't need them now. If you're linking your content right, and you're keywording your content right, and you're posting your content right, and you got everything in line with what the search engines are looking for, you're not going to need a service like that. It's great that you're paying them $40 a month, along with $20 a month to OnlyWire. The other, in my mind, it's money you could use elsewhere. And I want to be honest. A lot of what these sites do is they take your content and they'll spit it out to 40 or 50 different sites. Now the problem with that is it can give you an increased ranking right away, because it's going to pick up to this. They just spit this content out to 40 other sites. Google picks it up, boom. But the problem with most of these guys is, guess what? The content they're spitting out to these 40 other sites is the same content, meaning it's duplicate content. So you might get that ranking right away, and it might last for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and all of a sudden you'll see that ranking disappear, and you'll go, what happened? So now you write another article, submit that, boom, you're back in the ranking for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. All of a sudden that ranking disappears. The reason why that happens, if you've experienced that, and chances are you probably have, and I got an example of this afterwards, the reason you're probably experiencing that is because Google is going to rank it right away, don't get me wrong, because they're probably shelling that same content out for their service that you're paying $40 and $60 a month for to a number of different sites, but it's duplicate content. Within a week or two, Google's going to determine it's duplicate content, so they drop your ranking. So they say, oh, we need to keep doing this. You know, this is why you pay us on a monthly basis to do this. So it's kind of, you know, deceptive on what they're doing. They know what they're doing. You don't know what they're doing. They're just taking your content, spitting it out to all these sites, getting you the rankings. Google finds out it's duplicate content, decrease your rankings. That's why they say, see, this is why you need our service. This is why you need to pay us on a monthly basis. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it really is. If you're doing what we're showing you here, you know, spinning your content, you know, watching your keywords, grouping your keywords together, making everything relative, you're going to find out you can achieve those rankings and keep those rankings because it's not duplicate content, and you're actually performing better work than what these services can even provide, because once Google locks in that content and it's relative, guess what? They're going to keep it there. And it's not duplicate. They're never going to start decreasing your rankings because it's not, you know, or because it is duplicate content. The only reason that they would ever decrease your rankings is maybe somebody did a better job than you on creating their articles and creating related articles. But as long as you keep adding to your article base and your post and you're following what we show you, you know, like I've said, 3-4 articles a week, you know, post a week. You don't have to do this 40 hours a week, but if you're doing 3 or 4 a week and you're watching how you're mapping your articles out and you're connecting them, and I'm just going to go back to the blog here real quick, and let's go to edit post. You know, if you're grouping your articles together and you're keeping them informed with each other and you're doing inner backlinks to them, plus the other things we're going to be showing you in training, you don't need a service like that. Okay? Is there a big advantage, this is from Karen, is there a big advantage to having 2 related keywords, or is 1 related keyword okay? Well, Karen, if you're having, excuse me, if you're having problems coming up with a second related keyword, absolutely, you know, 1 is okay. But what we just showed you tonight, you can see why 3 can be very important, because now you can cross interlink, you know, inner backlink those articles and kind of switch the positions of those keywords and spin your content, and you can create literally a small little library of related articles. And Google loves content. They love relative content, related content. So the more keywords you can use, and by the way, guys, let's say you have 5 or 6 different articles you can write. For this example, you know, work from home. There's a lot of keywords out there. You know, group 1, I've used all 3 keywords. That doesn't mean I can't start a second group using 3 keywords and then even interexchange those articles as well. You can spider these out however you want. The more related content that you have that's kind of grouped together and inner backlink together, the higher it's going to rank online. So if you're able to come up, you can see the importance of having those keywords. You can inner backlink off those keywords, and if it's relevant content, meaning within that post, if you have it listed in your first post as a relative keyword and it's listed in your keywords that you got listed on that article and your meta description, and it's also listed in the article itself, and then now you have it connected to a, you know, another post that's targeting that keyword, it becomes very powerful. Keyword, and you know, everybody says keywords, keywords, keywords. You know, you focus a lot on keywords. Here's why, guys. This is how search engines operate. They all operate off of keywords. And I don't like calling it manipulating. If you know how to structure everything according to keywords, relative keywords, how to connect that content to make everything relative, and you put everything in line for Google, that's how you get the page 1 ranks. Okay? So the more keywords you can actually group together, Karen, for any post, the better. But if you're stuck at some time, that doesn't mean that you can't turn around and, you know, add a keyword later to it. Remember, if you ever edit a post, it's okay to add to it. You just don't want to change it. Okay, if you're changing posts, you're changing a lot within a post, and you keep editing, you're better off just writing a new post. If you're just adding to a post, you're going to be fine. Okay, so you can always add it later. Bruce, is there a spinning program that you would recommend? Yes, yourself, sentence by sentence. It's the best spinning program out there. You know, everybody looks for shortcuts. They do. And I understand where you're coming from, Bruce. I used to be the same way. I've spent thousands on, here, this is the best article spinner, and this is this, and this is that. And I thought, well, that will save me time. I'll tell you what, half the time when I was using those spinners, I had to go through them and clean them up anyway. I found out it was just easier just to spin it myself. But you know what? There was times where I caught myself, Bruce, and I want to bring this up to everybody, where I'm like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to start making money now. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And I was always rushing everything. You want to know when I made the most money, guys out there? And I'm being totally honest with you. When I relaxed and I took my time. You know, if I can do something correct and make it legit, and spin those articles and make them relevant. If I had to do it personally and can only do 3 or 4 a week versus I could do 20 a week with some, you know, fabulous software out there, I found out doing the 3 or 4 a week, I actually got better results. And here's the reason why, Bruce. And for anybody else out there, I know that there's some great spinners out there, but you want to know what? When you spin that article, you want to know what you'll find when you read it? You're not connecting with the people. If you're not connecting with the reader, they're going to click off. They're going to click off that article, that post, whatever you're writing, that content, they're going to click off it as soon as they clicked on it. The one thing I found by spinning it yourself, it does take a little more time, but you get twice the impact. Because as you're writing it and spinning it yourself, you're still able to make that connection with the reader. You're still able to cover the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows, and make that personal connection to the reader. And that's what's going to keep your traffic on your page. Okay? Why do I use Google as a target? That was just an example. And I think what you're talking about, Bruce, is when I used Google as my target for one of my backlinks. That was just an example. For instance, that might be greatrecipes.com/ my affiliate link. So do you see what I mean? I was just using that as an example there. Bruce, again, how do you suggest we target keywords that do not have so much competition as to be very difficult to get page 1 rankings? It's not hard. How do I want to put this? Google Keyword Tool, I showed you that in last week's training. You can use that and find keywords relating to anything. You can use it to find keywords related to lawnmowers, diet plans, fishing equipment, hunting equipment, garage accessories, automotive tools, automotive accessories, pots and pans, rugs, recliners, furniture, plasma TVs. They're going to give you anything related to those keywords. Google's going to tell you what's high, what's, high bid, low bid. I always look at the searches. My sweet spot is, anywhere between that, under 400,000, but above that 15,000 mark, and I target them. Do I build some campaigns sometimes on some keywords where I don't get the results I'm looking for? Absolutely I do. It's trial and error. Most of the time, though, I'd say about 80% of the time, I reach the first page of Google with most of my campaigns. When you say, how do you suggest we target keywords that do not have so much competition, you can tell by the number of searches. If you're targeting a keyword that has 1 million searches a month, you're going to have some stiff competition. If you're targeting a keyword that has 100,000 searches a month, you're not going to have that much competition. So it's going to be easier to target. But I don't want to discourage anybody, because I'm not saying you can't grab a keyword that has 1 million hits per month and make page 1, because you can. You easily can. It's just the amount of effort and work you put into it. You can accomplish any of that as long as you put enough work into it. Okay? So, a lot of people ask me, about keywords, how do I pick them? I can't tell you how to pick the keywords. I can show you where to look up the keywords, show you how many times they're searched, but you're ultimately the decision maker on how you're going to write your content around those keywords. So if you're nervous about going against stiff competition for those page ranks, and you just want to get used to the system and how to do this, my recommendation then is hit keywords that are being hit at 100,000 searches a month or lower, and start learning the system, how to build those links, build your content, and build your structure of your content for search engines with those lower keywords, so you can start to see your results. Then once you start to master it, then start climbing up those ranks for higher ranked keywords. Should we bold our keywords that are related? No, not in a post. You only want to bold the keyword that is your main targeted keyword. Okay, you don't want to bold your related keywords. You want to bold your targeted keywords. And I did show that in the one post. I had a related keyword that was targeted. I would have went back and fixed that, but you should only bold your targeted keyword. So I do apologize for that. And is it okay to edit to posts that are already published, to add those links? Yes, as long as you're adding. But now if you're going through, okay, now if you're going through and you're changing things, you don't want to do that to the post. You don't want to do that. If you're just editing, or for your, if you're just adding, yeah, you can add to it. That's not going to hurt you. Justin, when promoting Premier products, do I have the right to simply paste the text of all of our products? The best thing to turn around and do, Justin, is just provide links to those pages. Is what I would do. I'd bring them to your blog, and then, maybe have a post written where it brings them to the links of those pages. The best thing to do is maybe take one of the released photos that we got in the back office that you're able to use, and then maybe write in your own words. Don't just copy the link or copy the text. Here's why. Duplicate content. That's not what you want to do. So reword it if you're going to do something like that. Quick question. If I got an article on level 1 and I respin it to submit it to article directories, should I point it back to my original article? Should I monetize the original article and point it to my respin article? No, you don't want to monetize it and point it to your respin article. Basically, this is what we just covered, Rodney. If you spun it, you want to, and you're going to these article hubs, you want to point it back to your main article that you just wrote about, okay? And then of course, you want to monetize that main article you just wrote about, but you don't want to just point it back to the article. That's called a loop, okay? Believe it or not, search engines look for those loops. I'm at the article, I'm at the post. I'm at the post, now I'm at the article. I'm at the article, I'm at the post. This is a loop. You got my search engine going around in a circle. This is not relative content. This is not the design of our search engines. Boom, you lose your rankings. Do you get what I mean? And you should monetize it, absolutely, but monetize it to something, a product or a service out there, and make sure you backlink it, but only do it once, and make sure that article, that original post is good enough, and it's 500, 700 to 1,000 words, but only include that monetization link once. Should we leave post in a draft mode until the campaign is complete? Chrisanne, that's a great question. Believe it or not, yeah, a lot of times I do that. Because I'll go through and I'll be making changes and I'll figure out another keyword and this, that. A lot of things can change when you're building a campaign like that. So what I'll turn around and do is I'll build them as a draft. Now, some people will say, well, if I turn around and do that, when I publish all these, is Google going to turn around and say, well, hey, you published all these 3 at the same time? Believe it or not, that's not going to affect it. I like building campaigns and let me just pull it back. And what she's talking about, guys, is what I was showing in the example here. I'm building these 3 posts. Would I complete them all first before I publish them? The answer is yes, I would. I like working on a campaign and making that campaign thorough before I publish it. So that way when Google comes in, guess what? It's spidering out through all the different links I have within that campaign, and it's grabbing that relative content and going back and forth. And there's even more to a campaign than that, because you can then add to the campaign through other cross-linking techniques, which we will show here in future trainings. Because we're going to show you then, once you got your inner campaign built, okay, then we're going to show you how to link to outer campaigns, such as article hubs, press releases, YouTube channels, a blogger site, and how to increase those rankings, how to add gateway pages, how to even add a PDF document to turn around and increase those rankings as well. So there's going to be a lot of things we show you, but the first inner design, absolutely, I like to have those done before I post them. Can we backlink to a related YouTube video in addition to a related post? Yes, you can. If you got, click here for a quick video on the subject and you point it to that YouTube video, that's great. Just make sure the description on that YouTube video, how you write descriptions, make sure you got the related keywords and you're targeting that keyword. If the video you're pointing to is not targeted to or doesn't, isn't targeting the keyword that you're targeting within your post, then I wouldn't point it to YouTube. Make sense? You want to make sure that those targeted keywords and that content is related. That's the biggest thing, Chris Ann. Judith, when we backlink to a relevant article, do we link both ways or just one way? For example, sometimes I link to another article and I write on that article, I turn around backlink from that to the same article. Again, you don't want to create a loop. Okay? Now, what I'm showing here, some people will say, well, you just created a loop here. This is just, this is just an example of two. Okay? This is just an example of two articles. I would actually write a third article that would go in between, but it's not just a loop, because when Google's going through it, the search engines are going through it. Yeah, these might seem like loops, but then I got it going out to another program over here. And don't get me wrong, I can also add a link to another gateway page, which we're going to be showing here in the future. That is going to link out, and that gateway page might connect to an article. That article is going to turn around and maybe point to a press release. That press release may turn around, point back to one of my other articles. So there's different things that we're going to be adding to this campaign as we show you. I can show you everything. If I tried to show you everything you can do within one post and one training session, we'd be here for 10 hours. We literally would be. And I'm not using that as an excuse. But on these inner campaigns, I like building these inner campaigns first. And then there's plenty of ways to turn around and add gateway pages, article hubs, press releases, other blogging sites within that system, Judith, to turn around and increase. But you don't want to just have one article coming back, on one blog site that's backlinked to another article on another blog site, and then have that one backlinked to the article on the other. Do you get what I mean? If you do that, all you're doing is creating a loop. Now, if you have more of those, if you're backlinking them like that, just keep in mind that you're actually fighting against yourself. You don't want to just, because, and the reason why is chances are, if you're talking about other sites, you're actually creating a backlink to go in competition with yourself. What you want to do is your inner backlinks that you're doing on your post, have them related to your post. Then we're going to be creating a couple outer backlinks as well, and we're going to show you one per article, and we're going to be leaking those out to gateway pages, this, that, and gateway pages, another blog through Blogger, maybe through an article. Again, I know I'm showing you guys in baby steps here and slow, through these training sessions, but I just want you to learn this stuff correctly. We are going to be adding other backlinks to this example here over the next few weeks in training, but you want to make sure you're putting your backlinks in right, because if you're putting them in wrong, and let's say you're backlinking to another article on another website or another post on another website or a press release, and if you're constantly backlinking to those within your little campaign that you're building here, where you're backlinking to them 2, 3, 4 times and you're creating those loops, actually all you're going to be doing is increasing the rankings for those other sites you're backlinking to, number one, so you're fighting against yourself. Number two, you just don't want to backlink to the same site. So for instance, in this one, what we'll be showing you in the future trainings, and I'm sorry if I'm confusing people, that's why I like covering just short little things at a time, but in the future we're going to show you how to backlink, again, example, to maybe Blogger. And then we got a spun article there. And then Blogger, maybe there's a we backlinked it to an article hub. And then in the article hub, maybe in the article itself, we've backlinked it to, a YouTube video that's related. And then in our signature in our article, maybe we have that coming back to one of the articles here within our little campaign that we've built. When you're linking these articles up, you got to be careful on how you do it, because if you backlink them the wrong way, you're actually going to be ranking the wrong page. The biggest thing you want to rank is your targeted keyword and your little campaign that you've built inside. I know it sounds confusing now. That's why we're taking it portions at a time, and that's why I say, take notes. Don, can you use link wheel with this? Be careful of systems that turn around and here we create links for you. Just be very careful with that. Juan, thanks for the compliment. I do appreciate it. Good question. Juan says, I have a blog in basically in English and I have one in Spanish. Can I use the same content? Is it considered duplicate content? I've never had that question before. I've never ran into that before, Juan. I just want to be honest with you. To be on the safe side, I would spin it. I'm not saying that they may consider it duplicate content. I'm not sure if they would. The biggest thing is you don't want to ever be caught with that. And by the way, I wanted to bring this up. We had a person that turned around. They did everything right. They targeted their keyword right. They put in their content right. They hit the densities right. They ended up on page 5 of Google in a very tough campaign. I'm talking about a campaign that gets 20 million hits a month, by the way, for the keyword. This person went right after the top. She got on the 5th page of Google for a very tough campaign. And then less than probably 3-4 days later, it disappeared. The reason it disappeared, duplicate content. Guys, be careful of duplicate content. Again, you might get up there right away, boom, but if you got too much duplicate content, they're going to drop you as fast as they put it up there, okay? But she had actually broken in to the fifth page on Google within a week for a keyword that's hit 20 million times a month. So I wanted to bring that example. Yes, it's possible to do it. The reason she got slapped on it and it got dropped, duplicate content. So always be careful of duplicate content. Dave, the rotator goes to the join page. I want to cover this. This is a good question. We have our rotator built in with our national ad program. We are changing the funnel. We're in the process of still building that funnel. Please realize, guys, this is a free service we provide for you. We have a lot coming in that, our new sales funnel is not even near complete yet. We have so many more things coming with that. With that new sales funnel, basically we're managing everybody that's rotated, everything within our campaign that we're providing for you guys within a funnel that's designed for that national ad campaign. We're not just going to take everything that we've put the time into design and that we're continuing to design to just here you go, members, good luck with them. We're putting those people into a system, okay? And we're still continuing to build that system. It's just, we're building a lot of changes right now. But it is almost complete, Dave. Hey, Dan, you're not manipulating the keywords in SEO. You are optimizing the system. And that's exactly right. A lot of people say, well, you're just, because I've shown people this and they say, you're manipulating the system. It's not manipulating the system. And that's why I say don't use spinners. Don't use, duplicate content. Create that story, who, what, when, where, why. Create that story. Make that connection with it. Use the scope. Target your keywords correctly. And if you line everything up for what the search engines are, and you've done your homework, and you've lined everything up for what the search engines are looking for, of course you're going to rank. And you should rank. Why? Because you're the one that did the homework. That's why. When you say 3 or 4 articles a week from Chris Ann, do we start a new campaign next week then a new one the following week? Yes, you can. I was covering this in Master Training Series. Sometimes I'll take a full month to build a full campaign because there's a lot more involved, as you're going to see in next week's training session. We're going to be showing you that. Because now we're creating that inner campaign. Guess what? Now we're going to start building things for an outer campaign that points to our inner campaign. I know it sounds confusing, Chris Ann, but you'll see what I'm talking about through the next few training sessions. But you can work on 2 or 3 campaigns, during a month. It doesn't hurt. Maybe if you're getting bored or you got a head block, a brain block. I always call them brain blocks when I'm doing writing. It's like I can't think of things. And I got content there in front of me that I can spin, and I still can't think of things. Oftentimes I'll just set that campaign aside and say, okay, I've been working too much on this campaign. Let's switch gears. Let's go over to this campaign. And the other thing I want to keep in mind to you guys, don't work on campaigns that are all related. And what I mean by that, work from home, best business opportunity. Work on different campaigns out there. There's so many programs you can get involved with out there. And I'm not talking business opportunity programs. There's so many products you can get involved. One of the things I'm going to recommend is become a member to Amazon's affiliate program. Do you realize they got 15,000 consumer products and stores out there that you can turn around and become an affiliate of? It could be Let's say you have a passion and you write about cooking, or you have a passion about landscaping. You can turn around and write little tips and tricks on stuff you enjoy writing about and monetize it simply. For instance, for landscaping, you can monetize it at the end with maybe an edge trimmer from Amazon. In fact, this is one of the best edge trimmers out there. Take a look. You can even include a picture of the thing within your article if you want. So just keep in mind, if you ever get a brain block from one campaign, it's okay to work on a few campaigns at a time, because oftentimes when I get that brain block with one campaign, I'll say, you know what, I need a break from that campaign. Let me switch over to this campaign. But keep this in mind too. Don't have 15 or 20 campaigns at the same time, because then you'll never get them done. Work two. If you're really good, work 3 at a time, but get those campaigns built up, at your pace, however long it takes. I'd rather you build the campaign right than worry about how fast you're getting it done. Okay? Believe it or not, you'll make more money in the end anyway by building a campaign right. Everybody's so worried about how fast can I get this done, how quick. And I understand some people, they're on a tight budget and they need things to change now. But let me put it this way. If I can show you how to build a campaign over the next year correctly, and within that next year you can actually build a solid income from what I'm teaching you here, a solid side income of an extra $20,000 a year, was it worth that 1 year of learning how to do things right? I believe the answer is yes to that, because you're going to be able to take that knowledge and build multiple campaigns at that point and increase your income anytime you want to. That's how I built my company. Bill, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. All right, I'm trying to get to everybody here. How much content should be on one blog before activating the AdSense widget? Believe it or not, you only have to have a few posts out there. But you want to know what? Make your posts. Those posts need to be at least 500 words long. A lot of times AdSense, I don't know if you'll notice this, we'll have people that have put 2-3 liners out of Google AdSense. Google AdSense won't populate. You want to know why? You can't read the content off your blog, off your post. Google loves content. Remember that. Google loves content. So you can have it out there. You can have it with a couple posts. But just remember, all your posts should have 500 to, at least 500 words. 700 to 1,000 is perfect. But if you have at least 500, you should have no problem with it. Google's going to be able to pick up the keyword you're targeting and populate ads according to it. Okay? So I've seen that a lot. And we still got the people out there. Headline, 2 sentences, video, join now. That's great. Maybe you'll get a couple clicks on it here and there just from people viewing through the front of the blog. But you're not going to get the rankings off posts like that. You're just not going to get them. Brad, love the encouragement to slow down and doing right, Dan. I've tried article spinners once. It's very dissatisfied with the results. For one thing, if I'm going to have content out there with my name attached to it, I want some quality to it. So, yes, go old school. And you want to know what? You're going to find out, Brad, and I appreciate the compliment back. It is right. You want to know what, guys? I'm going to tell you. There's too many programs that are out there right now that are, here, join this, do that, here, boom. A lot of these people that get sucked into these programs and opportunities and this and that out there, they say it's so easy. Here, all you got to do is click this button. We got this. This is going to put your content out. They promise you the world. You're going to find out if you do that, you're going to be let down every time. Unless you got a bank account where you're putting out $20,000 of advertising a month to keep driving those fresh people in, you're gonna be hurt every single time. I was just talking to a guy today. He turned around and he said, I got in with the program. He goes, next thing I know, I'm into the program for $4,000. He said, I've been involved with it for 3 months. He goes, I feel sick to my stomach. He goes, I feel like I've been stolen from. He goes, I feel like I was just robbed. He goes, and then I see what you're showing. He goes, you know what? He goes, I wish I had that $4,000 back. He goes, because all they told me to do was, okay, here, now you got in, you paid me your $4,000. Basically, go find 10 more people that are going to give you $4,000. He goes, if I knew when the program was like that, he goes, I would have never joined it. Problem is, there's too many programs like that now, and they're hurting people, and that's the sad part. That's one of the reasons why I really wanted to develop this network. I seen what was going on in the industry. Nobody's teaching people. If people learn the right way, you can build as big of an income as you want online. And nobody can control that income. The only one, nobody besides you can control that income. And that's what's important, because the second you have a group, program, system, whatever you want to call out there, that can actually control how much you make online, you're already losing the battle. That's why I do teach it old school. And if you do it right, you're going to get results. You may take a little longer to learn, but once you learn it, you're going to know it forever. And if you know how to do it right from the start, nobody can ever take that away from you. You can build as much as you want online. And that's the bottom line out of that. Okay, a couple more questions here. I'm just trying to get through. Got a lot. Is there such thing as too many words? Al King, great question. Believe it or not, there's articles out there that are 2,000-3,000 words. Do I think it's too much? Sometimes, yeah. It depends on if here's how I always base it, Al. Are you keeping the interest of the reader? If you're keeping the interest of the reader through all, 2,000-3,000 words, and they're right on the edge of their seat to that last, to word number 3,000, then no, it's not too long. Now, if it's just a bunch of mumble jumble to get to 2,000-3,000 words to make Google think you got a lot of content, that's not going to do you any good either, because even if you get a higher rank because you have so much content out there, somebody's going to read halfway through the article and say, man, this is too long. This guy, I lost my interest a paragraph ago. Click, they're off of it. So you got to find that happy medium. It depends, so my answer to your question is too long. It's not too long as you've captured their interest through the entire article. If they haven't, guess what? Boom. It's not too long. If they have, then yes, it's too long. Another question, when using SEO Pro Connect, if I use 3 related keywords for separate blog posts, do I need to find new related keywords for SEO Pro Connect? No, you can kind of cross up your related keywords. And we're going to be showing that not only in here, we'll be showing that in Master Training as well, but we're going to be showing that in our regular training too. In fact, that's, like I said, right now we're showing the inner campaign, but we're going to show you how to add those gateway pages and how to interlink those related keywords as well and your main keyword as well within those pages. So, all right. Listen, guys, I got to get ready. I just realized it's 8:26. I got Master Training coming up here in 24 minutes, and I got to get things ready for that session as well. Keep in mind, guys, if you learn this stuff right and you tackle it right, you're going to be able to accomplish this stuff easily online. We're going to be showing you a lot. Remember, we've only been through 4 training sessions. After you see what we're going to be training you on throughout the next few months here, you guys are going to know more about getting real results online than any other program online. And not just for one specific area, but for any area you want to market to. All right? Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. We will see you next week in training. Bye-bye.